Signs of Life is a beautiful, moving, and eventually very funny at times film about, the unexploded bombs of grief we all have, juxtaposed against a massive bell-ringing exclamation mark for the sheer beauty of life. We've got an incredible team on board, wonderful actors, really well-known, brilliant actors who are doing this for union minimum rates because they love the script. I know I wrote it, but I feel I'm getting brave enough to say this out loud. People love it. It's a really necessary film right now. And if you can help us in any way, come, we mean it. You are a collaborator. This is not about taking money and furthering our careers. We are making something beautiful, which is useful. Both things are valid. You are valid. We are grateful. Spread the word. Much love.
So yes, welcome back everyone. This is Nerdly Out Loud, the official channel of nerdly.co.uk, your favourite British home for all of your news, reviews and exclusive interviews. I am sorry, I have been off for a couple of weeks. I've not posted out anything, but I am back with an absolute bang. We have got an interview tonight with Mr. Well, probably one of the most exquisitely turned out men I've ever met when I went to a film festival. Good looking man, Mr. Joseph Millson. How are you tonight, Joseph?
I am tickety-boo.
Yeah. And since the lockdown and the pandemic and everything, I've started some of these interviews with just a little quick question is
Yeah.
How are you generally? How are you getting on? Are you okay?
What a wonderful question. I love that because in life when people say, how you doing? People say, I'm fine, I'm okay. So I will give you the honest answer is actually today I genuinely am pretty good. But there's been some interesting times of late. I'm tired. I'm tired, but I am grateful. I think that's how I feel right now. Yeah, I'm a one-man band on the thing we're going to talk about. And I'm working as well, which is a rare thing for an actor these days. So I've been on night shoots for nearly 2 weeks.
Nice.
And by day, I am line producing my own film and making props and fucking everything. Excuse the French. Are we allowed to swear?
Well, as long as it's French.
Oh, well, there you go.
But yeah, we have met before. We've met a couple of times at the Romford Film Festival, but this is me getting a chance to sit down and talk to you. And those were for short movies, The Magician and Care, which you know that I've gushed about those movies to you. But now you are. This is going to be a feature. This new one, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, and it's effectively a completion of a trilogy. If you look at it in a way, because it continues. Shall I do the little story of how this came to be?
Well, that is one of my questions, so just go for it.
In brief, for anyone who doesn't, just to say, they are now on YouTube. So if you look for The Magician brackets 4K, because if you just put The Magician, you get all sorts of weird things, and Care brackets 4K, that's how you find our little films. So they're out there if people are interested. And we made one. I dared my wife to make The Magician, and I produced it. She made it. It was a fantastic film, and it was about someone's life being altered a little for the better by someone else's act of kindness, and blah blah blah. And then Care, we didn't even realise there were themes in it. Now, when I was in the edit for Care was my film. My wife dared me back, and I made a short film, and it did great, and it came out just how I wanted. And we had a great time shooting it, which is an important part of the thing. But in the edit, I was looking at this little film about a carer with an old man and his day, this morning in his life, and I realised you never know what's going on down the road in the same street as you. There are so many. I thought, my goodness, this is happening in one house in one morning, my short film. And I suddenly thought, well, maybe The Magician is happening at exactly the same moment 4 roads away in the town park. And I thought, wow. And you know, when I'd finished the edit of Care and The Magician was there. So our brilliant DOP, Elliot Millson, he's very careful with his language of film, and you only get a track in his world. He's very careful. You have to earn them. So, both of them, it's a fair few minutes into the film before there is a little bit of actual camera language, like tracking in or tracking. I was just curious once they were finished, and I got 2 laptops, got the wife's laptop and my laptop, and I pressed play at exactly the same moment, right? 2 separate films, 18 months apart, no planning. The first tracked camera move in The Magician and the first tracked camera move, which is a good 10 minutes into each, happened at exactly the same second. And that night, I went, that's weird, firstly. Then that night, I went to bed, woke up, and I swear to God, Kevin, I woke up with the entire plot of a feature film. I had to scramble upstairs and handwrite about 20 pages, so typing wouldn't have been quick enough, that follows the woman from The Magician and the man from Care, the carer, legitimately meeting, and it's not a romance, it's not a buddy movie, it's just a kind of human meeting story in a foreign land, and it's a kind of funny. And I went, my God, this is a feature, and I just spewed out a draft. And it only took about 2 months to have 3 drafts done, and everyone I handed to. So I honestly, I don't, like I said to you earlier, we were just off microphone. I don't know what I believe, but it was one of those moments where you go, this is weird, because everyone, I'm not claiming to be a great writer, but I'm really not. But this is a great script, and I don't feel like I'm responsible for it. It just plopped in, and it took a few drafts to do it really beautifully. But the essential story, everyone who reads it, really, people with 40 years experience, I've handed it to some bloody Oscar winners, and they've said, this is the best script I've read in 15 years. This is a story I feel like I've seen, but I know I haven't. This has to be made. So we're doing it, and it's so kind of good. The script, again, but not me. So we've had some interest of like, okay, well, should we wait and make this for 2 million quid and do it proper? We've had some proper people who do that, have sniffed it. I've taken my courage in my hand and I said, no, I'm going to make this exactly how we made the other 2, with sellotape and glue and love. And we're making a proper, grown-up, real feature film that will exist in cinemas. We hope we've already got some sniffs. It's crazy. For about 30 grand, which you and I know is of a real film with real actors who, God bless them, I basically called in 30 years of favours in every department. But I was looking the other day, because I am at the moment everything, line producer, props, blah blah blah. I was looking for the caterer. I was going, what's the busiest day? And the busiest day of cast and crew on a feature film is 9 humans. That is how tiny this is. But between us, like 400 years experience. Everyone's very experienced. Yeah. We've got an Oscar-winning composer. I mean, it's bonkers.
And before we really get into all that, and you're sitting there, and obviously you don't want to blow your own trumpet when it comes to your writing, but I saw a quote from a Mr. Irvin Welsh who really likes this script as well.
I know. So this is it. I have, just from being in the business a long time, I do know a few people who will take my emails. And again, what I always do, I never presume. So I know Russell T. Davis and Irvin Welsh and people, and I will say, when might you have time to read a little thing? Rather than just, will you read this? And I think they always appreciate that, because Irvin will always go, he's amazing. He'll say, oh, great question. He'll say, okay, if you get back to me in October the 8th, I've got 3 days off, I'll read it then. And he's always as good as his word. And he read it, and it said he just absolutely adored it. And, God bless him. I said, can I quote you? Of course. So it's good. It's been really good. Oh, I haven't said what it's called, but the money, interestingly, get this. Sorry, this is meant to be an interview. Basically, you press go and I just talk.
That's why I accepted the interview.
My poor wife. Honestly. So get this right. I've said it's like 30 grand. And I know I'm breaking every rule. You're not supposed to say what your budget is, because when you sell the film, you say, it cost us 9 million. So if you want to give us. But screw it. We're having a few things to tell you that are bonkers. So I approached everyone I knew in every department for help. just advice and help. And I knew one film composer. She happened to be an Oscar winner, Anne Dudley. And I was going to make this film like Jay and Mark Duplass. I was going to, if I had to, I was going to do a little bit of crowdfunding and credit card it if I have to. Yeah. I want it answerable to no one, just us. So I spoke to Anne Dudley, this amazing composer, and I said, look, can I possibly have a cup of tea? I just want advice. Because everyone says, I'm hoovering up podcasts, and they all say with their first films, what would you have done differently? And they all say, God, I wish I'd thought about the back end. I wish I'd thought about the score. I wish I'd thought about PR. I wish I'd thought about festivals. I'm trying to do all that. And I said, I know nothing about scores. My brother's a great songwriter. He'd like to help us, but he doesn't know how to score a film. All I'm asking is next year, could we sit down with you and him and give us some advice? She was like, oh, all right. I'm very busy, but all right. I'll give it a She gave it a read, and then I got an email saying, I love this script. I love your short films. Can I invest in the film?
Nice.
And I'd like to co-compose with your brother for free. And I turned her down 4 times. She and her husband, he read it then, and they went, yes, we'd like to invest in this. Have you got a budget? Have you done your budget? I went, I have. Well, can we see it? I went, yeah, but I don't want investors. I don't want to be answerable to anyone. Eventually, they persuaded me that they are not going to interfere, that they, even if I don't, think this might be a real film that enters the world and they'll get their money. They're confident they'll get their money back. It won't be me that owes them. It's like the film. And eventually they persuaded me. So they've given us effectively nearly 2/3 of the money. So they are our producers. We're doing a Kickstarter on right now for the last chunk to get us over the line. And it's going great. But as with all Kickstarters, it starts great. Then it's like, it's really like, oh no, come on. But and we're offering amazing things, which everyone said, oh, you can offer executive producer credits for £1,000 or £2,000. I went, yeah, great. Ours will be a few hundred quid. Like, people on board. So, anyone who loves cinema and wants to be able to see their name as executive producer on a real film, can do it on our Kickstarter. All sorts of little perks,
Well, on that, let's jump into all that creamy goodness, because you are currently running a Kickstarter, which I do not envy that at all. 16 days left as we record. This is Friday now, so you've got 16 days left. You've got a good chunk of it already, and that came in pretty quick, which was awesome to see. How much of a bollock is a Kickstarter?
Quite a big one. But I have been, the way to do it, no one told me this. I did one for Care, for our short film Care. Yeah. And I am tech hell. I'm terrible. So I started early and I practiced. You can build your page, your thing, very slowly and eventually press go, Yeah. So with this, I have been putting it together and re-editing it, fiddling around, doing another pitch video, for 3 months before I press go. So it's only been a little bit every couple of days. It didn't feel like a big headache all at once, which actually is the way. And then the other byproduct, we've been very lucky. I don't even know how this happened. We have got Emmy and BAFTA winning documentary team. They're doing a documentary about the present life of low budget films in Britain. We're their guinea pigs. They're following us from start to finish. They came out on our recce to Lanzarote with us. It's filming in Lanzarote. Not only is we making it for that money, but we're filming abroad for that money. Leighton Buzzard and Lanzarote. That's where it's filmed. So we've got them, and they shot our recce, and the camera work. He's like an Oscar-nominated documentarian, the cameraman. Mm-hmm. It's so good. And they said, oh, you can use this for your Kickstarter. I'm like, really? So we've edited little bits from their amazing documentary tests.
Yeah, so that was your update, wasn't it?
Yeah. So we're this is what I'm saying. This all feels like it's not really mine in the best way. I kind of am steering a ship. And we've got a very young crew, which we love, brand new, straight out of film school art department. Our DOP is 21. He is my nephew, but honestly, I think he is the greatest thing since sliced bread, and we're still lucky to get him on mates rates, So, and it's just, I haven't even talked about the plot, but it's basically, it's
let's do that. Let's do that, because let's talk about the movie is called Signs of Life, which we're 15 minutes in and still haven't said that.
No,
I've seen Care, I've seen The Magician. I loved Care, and I loved your writing on Care.
Yeah.
Where did obviously the seed of this come from, and why did you want to specifically tell this version of that story?
Oh, that's a good. You question well, my friend. You should do this. Oh, you do.
I'm trying.
The seed was both film, Care and The Magician, but really, how we've all had that experience. Probably not everyone's been on holiday, but those times when you talk to a taxi driver about stuff you haven't even talked to your partner about. Absolutely. The way we share with strangers sometimes, it has that in it. Basically, I'll tell you a little of the plot now, but basically, The Magician is about a woman who doesn't speak. Now, it's only a short film, but she is in this film I've done a lot of research into what is called selective mutism. And so these are people who normally, due to trauma or whatever, just stop speaking, sometimes entirely, sometimes they can only say one word, sometimes they can make noises, and sometimes it lasts 6 weeks, sometimes it lasts 20 years. So Anne, our protagonist, is a selective mute. I like films that make you ask questions. So we don't know what her trauma is, but she has taken herself on a cheap holiday to get away and to go and find some peace and some tranquility. And she's got some ashes of someone, again, we don't know who. And she wants to do the right thing and do a ceremony with these ashes in this, holiday destination. When she gets there, instead of peace, tranquility, and calm, she finds noise, squalor, and danger. And she ends up, believably, this does happen. A hotel is so frightening and terrible, and the people in the room next to her are so scary lads that have spotted a single female. She feels in danger, has no money to just pop to another hotel. This woman goes from a holiday to sleeping rough in a holiday resort, sleeping on the street. Now, it just so happens that the carer character, who in our film is called Bill, he's out very different reasons. In Care, there is a moment where he receives a text and his whole world falls apart. Okay? And I didn't even know what that text was. Right? I texted the actor live with something, and it was to do with a marital conflict and child custody, whatever. But the audience can make up their own mind. But that's what we decided. Well, yes, that same character, this whole parallel universe I was talking about, the same week he's gone on holiday for a different reason. He had booked his post-divorce, his first holiday with his kids, and money he hasn't got. He's used credit cards. He's like, I'm going to give them the holiday of their life. They've been through a horrible year. Let's have an amazing holiday. And for whatever reason, it's not gone right, and the children have been withheld from him. And he is in this little villa on his own. He's gone, well, I'm going to go anyway. So he's full of sadness and anger, but he's looking at this villa all on his own. There's a woman who has nowhere to sleep. Believably, they were on the same flight. They clocked each other. He ends up offering her somewhere. She's scared of people. She says no, but they do. I can't do the whole film now, but basically, really believably, end up sharing space. These two damaged people. And what comes out is the most beautiful thing about just that thing I said, like the taxi driver. Now, she doesn't speak. Very quickly, all he needed was someone to listen to him, his side of things. And before you know it, that's happened. By virtue of her just not ever answering back. She would rather say, could you just shut up now? But she can't. And so it's done. And he's in a better place. And she finds she's in a better place. And you think, oh, it's all cozy. But obviously, it's a great script that we've made sure there are flies in the ointment all over. It gets funnier and funnier and sadder at exactly the same time. I actually used because I was, the idea for this film was a little esoteric. A silent lady and an oversharing man share some space, like The Odd Couple, and it's about kindness and being a witness for someone, but I thought, oh God, it could be really boring. So do you know what I did? I used all the action movie writing techniques. So I wrote this very strictly with the rules, I'm doing inverted commas, of how you write action movies. At this point, you must have this kind of, it must be like an explosion. At this point, you must have a complete reversal. And at this point, they must be in danger of their life, blah, blah, blah. And I used this model for this little esoteric, beautiful French movie we're making. And I think that's why people have responded to the script, because it actually has real page turn ability and it's sort of very satisfying. So there you are. It's not an elevator pitch, is it? This is more like a taxi ride pitch. My God.
So it's Amelie on steroids.
Yeah, it ends up, it's not like a magic happy ending, but it, as with all our films, our thing is to leave people feeling it's not about happy endings, but it's like we want people to feel a little better than they did before they watched the film. And that doesn't have to be, it can just be about feeling a bit more nourished. So it's got that in spades. And we've got an amazing, you can be the first person I announce some of our cast to.
Oh, I'll take that.
I've only just had the okay from the agent, one of them. Now, because we are such a small film, we don't have to have big names to send in. But Sarah Jane Potts is my wife, but she happens to be an amazing film actress. You know, she starred in Kinky, I'm just saying this for anyone who doesn't know, she starred in Kinky Boots, the movie, IMDb or Google Fiddler, you'll find everything, so much stuff. But the part of Bill, I'm thrilled because one of my favourite actors in the world is a man called David Ganley, Ganly, and he is an Irish theatre star. Like, people in the world of theatre are like, oh my God, David Ganley. It's like Mark Rylance and David Ganley. He is just, but he hasn't yet had a massive film and TV career. He's done loads, but like bits and bobs and bits. Like, he was in all of Moon Knight on Marvel, and what have you. But his moment hasn't yet happened as a film actor. But and when I sent him this script, he responded to it so well. And then his very posh agent, who I was terrified of meeting, because he looks after Ralph Fiennes, blah, blah, blah. His agent, I had to go and meet him, sat me in a big meeting room. I was like, oh God, here we go. He had read it twice. He utterly adored it and said, I've looked after David 26 years. I've been waiting 26 years for someone to bring me this script for him. This is exactly what I want David to be doing. I know you haven't got any money. He said, I'm going to sting you for points. Said, okay, you can pay him peanuts to do it, but I think this film's going places, so I want him to have a bit of the profit. I'm like, yeah, well, good luck, of course. But David Ganley, Sarah Jane Potts, there's an amazing actress called Ashley Maguire, who was in like This Country and It's a Sin, and she's a brilliant comedian, brilliant actress, but she does a lot of TV comedy. And she got, everyone's double banking, so she's coming out to do a brilliant cameo role. And also she said to me, Joe, I've been a first before. Can I be your first? It's like, Ashley, you're like a nearly BAFTA nominated type. What are you on about? She went, oh, I like it. I speak Spanish. I'll come and be. So she's doing a bit of that. My daughter, it's a very family business, this. You know, my brother's co-composed the music. He's also doing the on-set photography. My daughter is a cracking actress, but also speaks Spanish and also is a really good director and producer. So she's got a cameo role and she's coming out to be production assistant. Like Elliot Millson is double banking. He's not just DOP. He is well known as a drum and bass artist. So we've got his music in the film.
Drum and bass artist?
Yeah. He's called
Elliot?
Yeah. Oh my God. He's had like, in the drum and bass world, he's had like top 10 singles. He's called, if you capital letters, ELLM, kick ass drum and bass. And our camera assistant, Ben Redman, is a cracking actor. He was in Encore, that played at Romford. So he was the young lad in that. He's playing our scary teenager, and he's camera assistant. So like, you know, this really is like homegrown stuff. And we've got a brilliant sound guy. It's a great team.
You're really doing my work for me, because that was to be a question, like just to let us know more about the crew and everything. Because obviously, I know Sarah is a fantastic actress. Why don't you let her talk in your movies, though?
Well, she hates learning lines. I've written her dream role. She's in an entire feature film starring in it with, now just to give something away, not no lines. She has about 3 lines. So
Nice.
There's giving something away. This mute lady might eventually say something.
So so this is going to be your Jay and Silent Bob pairing going forward.
Yeah, but to be honest, David Ganley's character talks enough for 4 people. He is a Tigger. Yeah.
Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys are coming up with. And you mentioned perks on the Kickstarter, and this is what we're here for. We're trying to get some more eyeballs onto the Kickstarter. And what kind of perks do you have? Because I saw one where you guys are going to write a full song for someone.
Yeah. So my brother, Peter James Millson, is quite a well-known singer-songwriter. He's like been 5 albums with Reveal Records, and he's got a loyal little following. He's not beautiful music. Anyone who hasn't heard it, go and have a sniff wherever you get your music. But he said, "Yeah, all right, I'll." He will write a song to order, which is amazing. So but he's go and listen to him, and then and he'll need prompts. And he said he can only do a couple, so we've only got 2 of those left, I think. But yeah, he will write a song to order. It could be for someone's wedding anniversary. It could be whatever, just to say thank you to someone. That's an amazing perk. Sarah Jane Potts, famous actress, is also a qualified life coach. She's offering life coaching. I do mentoring. I'm going to do one-to-one coaching. We've got crazy video messages we'll do from set, all the usual stuff. And what else? We can have people as producers. Oh, you can be an extra in the film.
I saw that one. I like that one.
Yeah, in Leighton Buzzard. Yeah, it's a good perk, and it's a great little scene. Set in an airport. We won't be in an airport. We're going to make a coffee shop in Leighton Buzzard seem like an airport coffee shop.
Is that what airports look like anyway?
Exactly. There'll probably be pastries and coffee included as well there. But yeah, and we really, it sounds like blah, blah, blarney, but honestly, it is about people being collaborators. My career's okay. This is nothing to do with my career. This is such a joy because I have no attachment to this leading to anything else. It is an end in itself. We want to make a film that once I'm dead and gone, my grandkids might go, "Oh, that was nice. That's a good thing. This is a useful thing." And that, as I say, when people watch it, however it eventually enters the universe, they feel better walking out of the cinema.
As you say as well, it's the spiritual exclamation point on 2 amazing shots that you guys have already put out, and that's what really gets me, because I know that you can write well. I've seen Care, I loved Care, and I know that Sarah's a fantastic actress, and Elliot. I mean, I've gushed to Elliot about his cinematography before. He could make a turd look beautiful. So,
I'm sure he has.
So it is one of those things. But what I did want to really kind of ask you a little bit about is what have you, if anything, what have you learned about yourself while writing this movie?
Oh, that's an amazing question. Wow, I don't know the answer. So whilst writing this, okay, I know what I'm interested in this universe. Oh, hang on, I've got an answer for you. My own life is transitioning from in front of the camera to behind.
Yes.
Now, what that means to me is I no longer seek validation. I don't want applause. I don't want to go through the storm. When I was a young man, I used to give me the parts with the dead babies where I've got to cry and do all this big stuff. And now, not only do I not really need to be in front of the camera or the audience, I love enabling other people. And that's what's happening in the film with the characters. I'm interested in learning about being quieter. Now, I'm not very good at it yet, but how interesting that I, out of my imagination, plopped this thing about a silent woman, about, and it could have been a silent man, but I wanted to write a film with a female hero, and the benefits. Yes, it's a condition that the people back home, this is why she's left, they all want her to help her. We need you to stop being mute. This is awful. This must be terrible. She's like, just leave me alone. Let me just go and be. And she wants to go somewhere where people won't keep questioning, badgering her. And so I have discovered I must be very interested about space where I used to want to always fill it with noise. And it is interesting. I'm doing, it's all parallel. And also this film, it's like David's given me questions and Sarah Jane. They're like quite right as actors saying, how do you want her to look? How do you want him to look? What do you want with the hair? Blah, blah. And I've said, wow, I know I'm the director and I'm supposed to have answers, but honestly, of course there's continuity issues with costume. But however you look on the date we start, that's how they look. I want to, and we're shooting a lot of this quite guerrilla. We have got locations booked, but we've got 39 locations we've recce'd, and so only maybe 5 of them with permission. We will get permission. The others are middle of nowhere on our own. It's not like we're using someone's property and not letting them know. But a lot of it is just out and about. And I'm very into French movies and like Hannah Kay's work as a director. And there's no need to do endless coverage. So it's going to be good rehearsals, and then let's see what we get on a developing master. Maybe that's enough. It's going to be very simple. I'm hoping for a simple edit, but we'll see.
And when do you start shooting? When do you hope to start shooting?
We shoot exactly. We've got our dates set in stone because we want to throw our actors into a real carnival that happens every March.
Oh, nice.
So we have to put our dates around that. Now, they haven't announced the exact date yet, but we know which fortnight it'll be in. So we're doing a couple of days in England in late February, 20th, around about 20th, 21st of Feb. And then we go out and we have a week's prep and we shoot sort of 4th to the 16th of March out there.
Nice.
We ought to be done by 17th of March. That's the plan.
You know what I love about it as well? Like just sitting there thinking you're on about them, how they bump into each other in like a believable way, and sort of like you always do see someone that you live near or live in the same town. That's when you go on.
Exactly. And it's the last, I think we imagined they were on the same flight and that he's super friendly. So he smiled and she just keeps bumping into him. It's like, oh my God. But he's clocked this woman who's still walking around with her suitcase after 3 days. So he offers to help, and whatever happens, happens. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to start wrapping this up in a little bit, but I want people to check out the Kickstarter. I myself have donated to quite a few different Kickstarters as well, but like it's sort of one of those things where I've seen a few projects that haven't come to fruition, and I'm just going to say right now, these guys, Millputs Productions, will 100%. Be making this movie and getting it out there, and you can take it from me who's seen their shorts. It's going to be a blinder. It's going to be a
bless you. Thank
you. So please do go on the Kickstarter, type in Signs of Life, Mr. Joseph Millson's movie. Again, the most exquisitely turned out man ever. not quite today though. No, and the reason, and what I want to say is, I want to leave off on this one thing is. Well, I mean, there's a little bit extra, but the tagline that you have on your Kickstarter is sometimes all you need is a stretched out hand.
Yeah.
Probably paraphrasing that. Yeah. But honestly, that kicked me right in the balls when I opened your Kickstarter. That's when I thought to myself, yeah, he's probably written another absolute blinder.
Oh, mate. Would you like to read it?
Oh, I would absolutely
love it. I'm going to send you the script.
Don't. If it's going to make me cry, though.
Well, it'll make you laugh as well.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'd love you.
So before we head out, I'm going to end with a nice, easy question.
Yes.
what would you say are quite possibly the 3 movies or the top 3 movies that have helped inspire you on this movie?
Okay, that's a good. Okay, on this movie, that's a great question. In the movies of all time thing will just kill me. So on this, let's say, I think Once.
Mm.
The movie Once.
Yeah.
I feel there's a lot of that in this. I feel there's a lot of a lovely film I like called A Bigger Splash.
Okay.
And a little bit of Lost in Translation. And a little bit, I was amazed at some moments of After Sun, which we all know is beautiful. So there was a little bit of that. It's a different thing. It's not father-daughter at all, but there was some. They were very brave about just what it is to just be with someone.
Yeah.
And it was like some scenes in After Sun, you're like, nothing's happening, but I can't stop watching. There's nothing happening, and this is amazing. That weird juice. There's a bit of.
I could see you being into that with the 2 short movies that I've seen your involvement in so far.
Yeah,
I could see you being into that, and a quick one. When are we getting Prancer 2? Are you coming back?
Oh, well, I hope so. I love that job. But sadly, those people, the producers, I did a Dragonheart movie for the same team.
Right.
Brilliant film, actually. Dragonheart Vengeance.
It's Vengeance, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, with Helena Bonham Carter and Jack Kane and what have you. But they, unfortunately, amazingly, I was helping to write Dragonheart 6 a bit because I got on really well with them, and I'm now writing a lot. And they knew I knew the characters. Tell you, the script for Dragonheart 6 is cracking, but it turns out Universal have now folded up that bit of their production arm.
Oh.
That made Prancer, they've just folded it up. It used to be called Universal 1440. And back it started off as their sort of straight to DVD movies. They're very proper. They're like $4 million films. They're real, but they're not massive, And it's kind of they've I don't know about killed it forever, but they have pressed pause in a big way. So everything stopped, and it's really tough for that lovely producer Rafaela De Laurentiis, because that was where she used to make all her films, and she's got to work out what to do now. So I don't think there'll be one for a little while, sadly.
Such a good character, though. You were a dick.
Yeah, he needs a spin-off series, doesn't he?
He does. Get Sarah Jane out of those movies, and you can take.
I can't believe we got on that job together. That was a total fluke. We were like, we had to tell them we are married. You can get rid of a hotel room. They're like, oh great, we'll save some money. Yeah, it's amazing. She just got that job on her own, independently.
Quickly before we bounce out, do me a favor and let people know where they can find you, find your work, and why they should check out Signs of Life when it comes.
Okay, well, if people want to, yes, I suppose the easiest way is to say there's a thing called Kickstarter, and it has a search button. And if you put Signs of Life in the search button, you will get us. But also, I'm on Twitter as cryptically hidden as Joseph Millson. And I'm on Instagram as that Joseph Millson. And from there, you'll find the Signs of Life pages. And, I think they should come along for the ride with us because we mean it. We're not just saying it. We are really keen to keep people feeling like they're part of the team. And that this is just a beautiful and useful film for very wobbly times.
Yeah. Yeah, I can. I get that sense, and I know what you're like, and like a little bit of like insight into some of your stuff, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what you've done because I really just like that tagline. It really smacked me right in the balls.
Sometimes all you need is the outstretched hand. Yeah.
Because it's true what you said as well. Like the conversations with perfect stranger are often the ones, and I can absolutely 100%. So, everybody, please do check it out. Joseph, it's been absolutely fantastic having you on.
Pleasure, thanks,
and it's good to have you on by yourself and just shoot the shit with you.
Yeah, let's do it. Absolutely.
So I'm going to wrap that out there. But again, everybody, Kickstarter, get over there. Signs of Life. Give what you can, a little, a lot, and if you can't,
Spread the word if you can't.
Exactly. If you can't give anything, a cheeky little share to your social medias, and that does enough as well. So
Absolutely.
thank you everyone for watching, and this has been a fantastic interview. And yeah,
Thank you, man. Thank you.